Here's why I think that whole thing is fake. Yo, if I accidentally got a text from the president, Hegseth and Vance, I'm going to be like, guys, stop talking right now. I'm not supposed to be here. I don't have access. I don't have clearance.
Not if you're hostile to the president and you want to use it as a story.
Would you publicize the fact that that happened?
No.
If it did?
No, these are sources. This is the crazy thing about how these journalists are scumbags, which is why I do lean towards, in this story with Mike Waltz, the Trump admin is just looking for ways to screw him over and insult them. Trump just does it to their face, like on the ABC interview. But I got a lot of people, I just went and did interviews at the White House. So I'm meeting with staffers, communications people. We met a handful of them. I'm not going to come out here and start screaming their names and talking about the things they're saying or doing. They have a reasonable expectation of privacy when they're dealing with me on certain issues. Now, I'll be honest, depending on the scale of information, if I accidentally got a text message from Donald Trump and I knew it was him and he said something like, I hate conservatives, they're all a bunch of morons and I'm pro-choice and I'm going to do everything I can to make abortion legal, then I probably would be like, yo, what? That's a crazy thing to be private messaging. And that's seriously detrimental to his base. It's deceptive. In this regard, it was a private communication over a security issue without classified information in it, or minimal information that could be considered classified. So it was just nothing. It was a waste of all of our time, and it is now too. The media is trash.
Well, yeah, I mean, that was the whole thing was, Goldberg shouldn't have been in there, but the reason that he stayed in there and, didn't make himself known and say, hey, guys, is because he was looking for information that he could use to slime the president. The fact that he's in there, as soon as he realized that he was in there, he was like, okay, I'm going to stay here because if they say anything that I can make into a story, then I'm going to make it into a story. He's been hostile to the president forever. He was all on the Russia thing.
So when he said he was like afraid of, the way that he framed it, he was like, oh, I left the chat because it was out of moral principle, and I feared
he didn't leave
that
the chat,
I was.
did he?
Yeah. He did. He voluntarily left the chat, but he did screenshot everything. Obviously,
yeah. He stayed in there.
He voluntarily left after what amount of time?
I don't know how long, but
I don't know how long. When you
it took
screenshot
it.
Signal, doesn't it tell the other person? No,
I don't know.
Snapchat does.
It does.
That's
Maybe
better.
they should just do all of their communication on Snapchat because that would be more transparent. But I don't know how long it was between him getting added and then him leaving.
But look, the point is, he was all in on the whole Russia collusion thing. He's from the Atlantic. The Atlantic was after Trump from day one. So he was all in on the Russia collusion thing previously. Mm-hmm. He had a hard-on for Trump forever. And the fact that he was in there, he knew that was bad that he was in there. So he just stayed until he could get enough information to go ahead and slime the administration. That's all that it was. So if he was actually
the information that slimes the administration is the fact that he was added, not really anything that was said.
Yeah, but but the thing is, he wanted to have enough information that he could make something out of it. Now, granted, the actual information that they exchanged in the Slack or in the whatever it's called channel, it's not that big of a deal. They weren't actually giving out. Like he was saying that when they were launching, but there was no actual classified information.
Yeah, I'm changing my position. I agree with Mary. Trump is bad and the media is good.
That's not what I was saying, Tim. Come on now.
The media is bad and Trump's administration makes mistakes sometimes. Is that where we're at?
Yeah.
Well, the media.
Yeah, I'm totally fine with that. I love when liberals are like, oh yeah, criticize Donald Trump. And I'm like, he sausaged fingers his phone and typed Kafifi once. He fired 59 Tomahawk missiles into Syria. I mean, come on. And that's low-hanging fruit. I know the Tomahawk missiles in Syria is really easy. There's other things to criticize him for. The MS-13 thing is now something you can... But look, I went on Piers Morgan the other day, and Piers asked if Joe Biden had done what Trump did, would I be defending him and saying he had a good administration? I said, probably not, because Trump more aligns with my moral worldview. And so when Trump makes mistakes, I'm forgiving because the greater mission of the Trump administration is good for my way of life. The greater mission of Joe Biden is bad for my way of life. That's why when Joe Biden does things like promoting transing the kids and DEI, opening our borders, all of it is bad. If you then combine that with other bad things like screwing up the economy and people's 401ks going down, I'd be like, this is a bad guy doing bad things. Donald Trump, on the other hand, is securing the border, trying to bring manufacturing back. telling people to have babies. These are things that I think are very, very good. So when Trump enacts a plan and it's got a negative result, I say, well, look, I'm skeptical on the universal tariffs. That's where I've always been. And I do think we should not gloat about people's 401ks going down or do this dumb thing where people are like, who cares about losing money? No, we all do care. But I'm not going to complain about Donald Trump making mistakes because I believe that he is bringing us on the right track and that he needs our support even when he makes mistakes. That's the difference.
The left is incapable of generating leadership because they purity spiral all the time. The reason that we default onto such mediocre leftists as the ruling class is because they constantly look to tear their own people down.
Indeed. That's why, there was this funny story. It said Democrats are trying to court the manosphere. And then they said the manosphere was Joe Rogan, Theo Von, and Andrew Schultz.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, those are just a bunch of comedians. They are not manosphere at all. So these journalists are completely incapable of comprehending anything. A Google search?
Absolutely clueless.
And that was Alex Thompson from Axios, the guy who claimed, we really missed this story on Biden. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
dude.
The cover.
No, I think these journalists are just largely developmentally disabled.
They're really out of touch. I mean, I think that the piece that they did on Hassan kind of shows that they actually said, oh, this guy's got a MAGA body, like a liberal in a MAGA body, and it's like admitting that the left is full of
shit.
Yeah, the left is full of like soft, out of shape.
Let's roll with this. You brought it up, Phil. Here you go from the New York Times. A progressive mind in a body made for the manosphere. They changed the title.
Oh.
Yeah, because it said MAGA body before.
Yeah.
And but what you were saying is they're basically admitting that the left is a bunch of frail, low-T guys who don't exercise.
Absolutely. It's absolutely true. Yes, of course, there are some dudes that are on the left that lift. Of course there are. But generally, dudes that are on the left are not thinking about things like, oh man, I should go to the gym today. I should do something to improve myself. They don't have that attitude. They tend to have an attitude of it's someone else's fault. It's someone else. There's someone else is the reason why these bad things have happened to me. They don't believe they have agency over their own body, never mind their life circumstances.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.